Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the Doctor's Lounge. Come on in. We are here to tell you what no one else is telling you. Life expectancy in the United States is 77 years old. On average, that doesn't mean that most people die at 77. That just means that a lot of people die younger and some people die older than that as well.
When you average it out, it's 77. So what are the leading causes of death, you're gonna ask?
The leading causes, right now, the number one cause of death is heart disease, cancers. Last year, 2021, COVID came into a whipping third place. The next is accidents, injuries, strokes, respiratory diseases, and then problems with the kidneys.
So heart disease is such a big one, but the way it starts, surprisingly, would be with high blood pressure and high cholesterol. These are things you don't always feel it right away.
You don't feel it.
You think it's kind of silent, and then boom, heart disease. And you would notice it. You feel it. It starts to really affect you, so it's no longer silent at that point.
Yeah, you can't run the way you used to. You can't walk the way you used to. You have to take a battery list of medications, sometimes 2-3 times a day. These medications, they affect your organs. The heart disease affects your organs as well, so your kidneys can shut down, your brain becomes foggy. Yeah, it's really not a good quality of life.
Even myself, I always notice, like, I can't pull all-nighters like I used to. I can't push myself the way I used to.
Oh, I can't pull an all-nighter like I did in college, that's for sure.
So I think the best we can all really hope for is if you start to hit your peak in your 40s and 50s, that's when you want to be in the best shape of your life, if you're lucky. Because it's like when you're younger, we're all kind of healthy enough, but if you
I think we all sort of peak towards 30s, and then we all sort of, start to dwindle a little bit. But I agree, yeah, you're lucky if you're in the best shape of your life in your 50s. But in your 60s, that's when things may start to drip.
Which, ironically, 60s, that's when you're going to start dipping into your retirement funds, and that's when you're expected to use that money. And
go on your dream vacation.
Yeah. And when you're on that vacation, boom, break your head. Suddenly now, morbidity, mortality way up, because once you have an injury like that, it's very hard to come back from it.
So I think the important question is, how do we prevent disability? That's really an important question that we all should be asking ourselves. And that really starts by optimizing our function in our 20s and 30s and 40s.
So for someone who's maybe like car-minded, it's similar. You don't wait until the oil is clogged up and going. You start changing the oil early. You try to do maintenance ahead of time to keep the car running smoothly for high mileage. Otherwise, break down, and you don't want that happening with your body.
So how do we do this? We, number one, start by going to routine checkups with our doctors, right? Doing the annual screenings, checking anything that you may have because of prone to genetic diseases.
The other big thing, we have to all be realistic. Unfortunately, we're going to be the ones to break this news to you.
Let's keep it real, guys.
We're all going to die. And not just that, we're all always getting older every single day. So if we act like that's not reality, we'll have
many
problems.
Fillers we can place or Botox we can do, we're all still aging on the inside. So, maybe not emotionally or mentally, but
it's true, and it's because of that we have to actually be realistic. So as we get older, we have to start treating our bodies like we're getting older. We have to start being mindful of our health.
Well, it's accepting the trend of life, and this can really help place things into perspective, because it is about the thought process, not just the actions, but choosing those decisions towards those actions. It's really about how you can optimize your health, but also think about when to try the hardest, when to push the hardest, when the risk reward is going to be the biggest in your life. For example, a daily burger that I used to do in my 20s, while not advised, I did survive. However, in my 40s, if I were to do that, I certainly couldn't sustain myself, and certainly consequences I would feel either right away or soon enough.
The most important questions you can ask yourself, initially, what are your short-term health goals? Then you start thinking, what are your long-term health goals? And then based on those two, you also need to factor in what is your family history of health things and how can you work towards preventing it or prolonging it or just being mindful of it.
Right.
And then once you know those, the other important question, what are your current health issues? And then how can you take care of these current issues early enough so you don't like let them get worse? See the doctor, start making a personalized plan. Like people can generically say, oh, you should do this, do that, lose weight, eat healthy. But once we know you specifically, your doctor's taking care of you directly, they can make a plan with you. Start working on it so that you can take care of it right away. And then the other things to do is start thinking about the next steps, which is what would you want if things got really bad?
Like really, really bad.
Yeah. Would it matter if it happened now? How about if you're 90? How about if you had a terminal illness? What things would change in that situation?
Yeah, would it matter if you could live but couldn't talk the rest of your life? These are things that you can plan for. And you can also plan for what death, how you would want your death to look like to a certain extent.
Welcome to realistically looking at your health and planning with intent.
Yeah, it's kind of like financial planning as you would with your short-term and long-term goals, but you're planning your health.
You want to first focus on preventing disease. So while you're still younger and healthier in your 20s, 30s, 40s, that's the time to start really focusing on how to protect your heart with a healthy diet and exercise. Checking your family history, seeing what it is and what you need to do that you're at risk for, that you need to protect for. And what are the routine tests that your doctor would want you to get yearly?
Yeah, exactly. So make a short-term and long-term goal with your doctor and have a plan. It's just like what you would do with HR, with your finances through your 401k and investments. I think now more than ever, because there's such a focus on finance, even health is even a way more important if you really want to utilize those funds in retirement. Plan for if you were, in a disabled situation, as you do get disability insurance, you can also do something called advanced care planning.
That's another video though.
That's another video.
So, if you learned anything at all, and even if you didn't, that's fine too. If you want to donate to charity, one of the easiest things you can do, subscribe, like, follow, because all proceeds from this channel go towards funding a woman's education. We have a scholarship fund set up, and it's very beneficial. And so all you have to do is watch and click.